What's going on, everybody? This is Cody, the home theater hobbyist, and today I have my full review of the AirTV Mini from Sling TV. This is a streaming media device. I've spent some time with it, and in this video I want to give you my impressions not only of using it, but of the features, the setup, and basically everything that you generally would want to know about this device. You can find it in this video, so let's get to it. The AirTV Mini is a wireless streaming media device based on the Android TV platform. It is similar to the Roku streaming stick, Amazon Fire TV stick, and other HDMI-based streaming devices. Although it's from Sling TV, you can load other streaming platforms such as Netflix, YouTube, Prime Video, and Disney+. AirTV Mini connects to a TV or receiver via HDMI with CEC support. It supports 2x2 802.11ac Wi-Fi networks, up to 4K UHD video, Bluetooth 4.2 for things like game controllers and Bluetooth headphones. It has Google Assistant built in and Chromecast. It costs $79 with no monthly fees and does not require a Sling subscription to operate. If this is your first time visiting the Home Theater Hobbyist channel, welcome. On this channel, you'll find product reviews, unboxings, talk about streaming media, and basically all things home theater. So why don't you click that subscribe button and hit that notification bell so you can be alerted anytime we upload new content. Also, if you want to purchase any of the items that we are reviewing, use those links in the description below because they do help support the channel. So here it is, the AirTV Mini from Sling TV, and as you can see, this is pretty mini. Now, this is a streaming media device, which means you can watch your favorite content from YouTube, Netflix, Amazon Prime Video, and obviously Sling TV. And the good news is you actually don't need a Sling subscription. All you need is a free Sling account, and then you can sign in and you can use this particular stick, which is quite nice. But before we get too far into this, let's go ahead and let's talk setup. To set up AirTV Mini, you need a TV with an HDMI connection, a Wi-Fi network, and a free Sling account. First, you will need to join your Wi-Fi network through an Android device or by selecting the network and typing in your password. Then it installs the latest firmware, restarts, and now it's time to sign into your Google account. Next, you install a few apps. It detects the TV type and asks if you have an AV receiver to set volume. Finally, sign into your Sling account so you can start watching Sling programs and you're ready to begin watching TV. To test the AirTV Mini, I used a couple of different televisions, including a 2008 32-inch Samsung TV. It doesn't have any apps built in, so it was nice to kind of see how this would work and add some new life to an older TV. I also tried a 2018 4K UHD TV from TCL. It's a 6 series, and I tried that because I wanted to see exactly the 4K performance. I also tried my Denon AVR-X 4400H AV receiver because I wanted to plug this in and see the audio decoding and obviously the video pass through. So I tried all of those things, and now I'm going to talk to you about my experience in a few different categories. I'm also going to rank the AirTV Mini in those categories from 1 to 10, 1 being the absolute worst and 10 being the absolute best. Okay, so let's start off and let's talk about the design. As you can see here, this is everything that you get in the box, and we'll start with the streaming media stick itself. It's all black and it's got the AirTV logo right up front. It doesn't have any Sling logos or anything like that, just AirTV. The overall length is about 6 inches, it's about 2 inches wide, and it's about a ½ inch thick, and it weighs right at 21 ounces. So it's not very big at all. Right here is the HDMI connection, and that's what you're going to plug into your television or AV receiver. On the back side right here is the power port. So with the included power cable, plug it into the wall, and that works just fine. And the only other button on here is a little button right here on the side. It says remote. And what this button is for is if your remote and this aren't paired, you use this to repair them. And that's pretty much it. Otherwise, it just sits behind your television. It's just a little streaming stick. I mean, there's not a whole lot to it, right? And that's kind of nice. Now let's talk about the remote. The remote is all black, as you can see here, and it's got the AirTV logo down there at the bottom. It feels pretty good in the hand, and it takes a couple of AA batteries back here in the back. and it's a nice remote. It's got the power button up here on the top right hand corner, and this will turn on your TV because remember, this is HDMI with CEC control, which means it has consumer electronics control. So when you go through the setup, the Android TV interface will detect what type of TV you have and, ask you to power it on, power it off, change the volume, that sort of thing. So that is a nice feature to have, and it does work. On the left hand side is a little microphone button, and you can push that button and there's a little mic just above it, and that is what you speak into if you want to ask the Google Assistant a question, or you want to get an app or something like that. Moving on down, you've got that big blue Sling button there, so you just push that and the Sling TV interface launches, and it works really well. You've got your play, pause, forward and back buttons. Just below that, an info button, a guide, an input pad right here with an OK in the middle, so you can go up, down, left, right when you're doing your selections. You've also got back, recall, a Google Assistant button here. So again, you can push this and instantly get to the Google Assistant if you want to, for things like weather and things like that, which does work. Volume up and down, mute, a home button so you can get back to the Android TV interface, and a Netflix button. So again, if you got Netflix, you can use this remote. So overall, the remote is quite nice. It feels pretty good in the hand. And again, it's black plastic that matches with the plastic on the streaming media stick. So I think it works pretty well. Okay, so from a design standpoint, I give this a 5 out of 10. It's all black plastic. It looks fine. It works fine. You plug this in and you really won't see it, once it's behind your TV or behind your entertainment system or whatever. And the only thing you're really going to interact with is this remote. It feels good in the hand. It's got all the major buttons that you want, basically placed where you can feel them and kind of tell what's going on with them, which is quite nice. So I give it a 5 out of 10 for design. Okay, so now let's move on and let's talk about features. And this actually has quite a few features packed in. First and foremost, let's talk about video quality. It can do 1080p HD, so you can hook this up to your HDTV and watch content in HD. But it also does 4K UHD, so you can hook it into your 4K UHD TV and watch 4K content like 4K YouTube. Now, I was looking in the tech specs and it doesn't actually say anything about HDR, at least not what I found. But when I plugged it into my 4K TV, I actually was able to get HDR10 content when I was watching different things on Disney Plus. So I don't want to completely say that it will do HDR10, but I was able to get it to work and I didn't have to do anything in the settings or anything like that. I just plugged it in and started watching content. So that's a definite plus. Another feature is Bluetooth 4.2 support. Now, Bluetooth is actually how the remote connects to the AirTV Mini. So you don't have to have line of sight for this to work. As long as you're within about 15 feet or so, the remote should work with the device. But one of the things that you can do is you can add a game controller to this, because you can download games from the Google Play Store, so you can have a few games that you can play on your television. You can also connect things like Bluetooth headphones, even Bluetooth keyboards, which is what I did, so I could actually type in my passwords to the different services. So that was actually really cool. I enjoyed it. You can also get local channels with the AirTV Mini through the Locast app if you're in select cities, because the Locast app is built in, but you can also use things like the AirTV 2 or the AirTV Anywhere DVR to access your locals like your NBC, ABC, Fox, and many others. Now, I do have an AirTV Anywhere DVR here, and I tried it and it works. I was able to access my locals and the stuff recorded on the DVR just using the AirTV Mini, so that's also a great feature. And as I said earlier, it has the Google Assistant built in, so you can ask Google different questions and get answers. It also has Chromecast built in, so you can cast various things to it. So it is actually pretty feature rich. Now, there are a couple of things I wish this had. First and foremost, I wish it had the ability to decode a Dolby Atmos signal. It'll do Dolby Digital. You can get 5.1 out of it, but that's as far as it's gonna go. I did plug it into one of my HDMI ports on my TV, and I use EARC to go down to my AV receiver, and I still wasn't able to get Dolby Atmos, only a 5.1 surround sound. Now, again, that's not bad. I don't want you to think I'm saying it's bad, but it would be nice if you could get more of the 3D audio formats and lossless audio. Now, another thing I wish this had was the ability to connect via Ethernet jack or Ethernet plug to your wired Ethernet. It does have 802.11 AC Wi-Fi built in, and I didn't have any issues with my wireless network. It worked flawlessly, but it's always nice to be able to plug in streaming media, video devices via Ethernet when you can. So that's another little downside that I found. And the final downside from a feature standpoint is that you can't add any and every app that you want. I tried to download Hulu and I tried to download Apple TV Plus, and I wasn't able to get it. The Android TV interface does have it, but you're not able to get it for this device. So that's a little bit of a downer, but you know, all your other major services are there. I was able to get HBO Max, ESPN, Netflix, Amazon Prime Video. All of those are there. It's just a few apps that aren't there. And so that's a little bit of a downside. So overall, I give it a 7 out of 10 for features. I mean, it's got Chromecast, the Google Assistant, Bluetooth if you want to connect a game controller or headphones or even a keyboard like I did. It's got the ability to connect to locals if you really want that. And it's got 4K UHD built in and maybe even a little bit of HDR, which is really cool. It's just missing a couple things that I wish it had, like Ethernet, maybe 1 or 2 apps that you might be looking for. And I do wish it supported Dolby Atmos, but I think they've done a good job and I give it a 7 out of 10. Now let's talk performance, and I'm really going to focus on the Sling TV performance, but I'm also going to talk about the Android TV performance a little bit. First and foremost, Sling TV performs like a dream. I have Sling TV on a couple of different Fire TV sticks, including the Fire TV Stick 4K and the Fire TV Cube. I also have it on a couple of different Roku boxes, and none of them perform as well, or excuse me, Sling doesn't perform on any of them as well as it does on this one. The interface is nice and snappy. Anytime you're waiting, honestly, you're usually waiting just because a show has to load from the Wi-Fi network, not because this is slow. Like I said, the interface moves quicker than anything I've ever seen. I didn't even realize Sling could move that fast, to be honest with you. Now, obviously, Sling is optimized to work on this hardware, so it should be fast, and it is fast, which is a definite plus. Now, the Android TV interface itself is also quite snappy. I really like it. Now, this is a new device, and I don't know how this is going to fare after 2 years or anything like that, but you know, just using it for the time I've used it here, it's actually worked really well, and I like it. I like the interface. It performs. So honestly, from a performance standpoint, I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10, and I'm holding back a point only because I don't know how it's going to perform years down the line. But if you want the fastest Sling TV performance, I think you got to look at the AirTV Mini. The final category I want to talk about is value, and I give this a 7 out of 10. Overall, this is in a pretty competitive landscape. I mean, you've got the Amazon Fire TV Stick 4K, which I believe is $49, and so is the Roku Streaming Stick 4K. I think that's $49 as well. But you also have some higher price options like the Roku Ultra, the Amazon Fire Cube, the Apple TV NVIDIA Shield. Those are like $99 and up. So this is kind of right in the middle, but there are some benefits to going with this. Obviously, if you are a Sling TV customer, this is the fastest experience I've ever had. So I've got to mention that, like, you get the fast experience with Sling. You get a dedicated Sling button, which is cool. But you also get access to local channels if you live in a low-cast market, or if you purchase the AirTV 2 and an over-the-air antenna, you can get your locals with this. It also has Bluetooth support, so you can do game controllers, you can do keyboards, you can do headphones. So there are some definite benefits to this. So from a value standpoint, I give it a 7 out of 10. So overall, I highly recommend the AirTV Mini if you are a Sling TV customer and you want the fastest experience. It has support for the other AirTV devices, so you can get your local channels. It has Bluetooth if you want to go with Bluetooth headphones. It does 4K UHD, and it does Dolby 5.1. I mean, it's actually a great little streamer. So if you want to purchase the AirTV Mini or anything else from Sling TV, use those links in the description below. Thank you guys for watching. Please like, subscribe, and comment. We'll talk to you next time.